Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Higher View. I'm Pastor Malcolm.
And I'm Alicia,
How are you doing today?
doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. The Higher View is a program where we look at topics and subjects from God's point of view, which is the highest point of view. And so today, what we wanted to talk about was pastor appreciation. That's coming up this Sunday. And so we wanted to just talk about the pastor and the role of the pastor and all that. I think there's a lot of confusion out there. And so um, I know probably what I first thought, and then me becoming a pastor, and being in the ministry, you start learning a couple things. And so we thought that would be a good idea.
Yeah, October is considered Pastor Appreciation Month. And I think there's actually an official Clergy Appreciation Day, I think is the official title of it. And I believe that this year that is October 9th, right? That's the date,
Is it
8th.
like the 15th, maybe?
No, it's like early in the month. Usually it's like the middle of the month. Anyways,
Mhm.
so this year's a little bit different. But a couple of fun facts that we found out about Pastor Appreciation Month. It actually was formed in 1992. So it's only been around like 31 years, which is kind of weird to me, but you know. And Focus on the Family was the one who actually started Pastor Appreciation. And Hallmark did not start selling the greeting cards for Clergy Appreciation until 2002. So that's quite a long time between the
Yeah,
two.
and I think at the end of this program, we're hoping that you'll appreciate your pastor every month,
Yes.
and stuff. But definitely this month, the Bible talks about giving honor where honors due, and
Mm,
um, let's start with a scripture.
that's always a good place to start.
I think I had a scripture, and I don't. Oh, there we go. Nope, 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 nope.
Wasn't it in Thessalonians somewhere?
Yeah, it was First Thessalonians. Why am I struggling to find this?
I don't know.
Um,
Real life here, people. Real life.
yeah, we're really live right here. Oh, it is right here in front of me. Now we ask you, brothers and sisters, to acknowledge those who work hard among you, who are who care for you in the Lord, and who admonish you, and hold them in highest regards in love because of their work. Live in peace with each other. That's First Thessalonians 5, 12, and 13. And I need to slow down because I am messing up words. But um, acknowledge those who work hard among you. This says, and uh, our pastors really truly work hard, and in so many different levels, spiritually and just physically, and the sacrifice and the stuff that they do. It's so important that we take time to honor them, and give honor where honor is due. And so first we want to talk about what is the role of the pastor. And I think the first thing, when we were talking about it, is the pastor's first job is to have a relationship with God and to
Yeah.
listen to him for the mission of the church. Because um if you start a church and you just do it on your own strength, well, now you're just doing it on your own strength. You don't have God backing you. And so a pastor's job is to have a relationship with God and to fulfill the mission that God has for that community. And so I think we definitely had to start there.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that I realized how much a pastor actually did until I started working in the office, really, is whenever that happened. And it is so much more than just preaching a sermon on Sunday. Like, until I actually preached my first message, I did not realize how much work went into that.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. And that's why I don't do that normally. And I'm very thankful for that. Very thankful for the pastor. Yeah, and so having a relationship with God is definitely number one, because you need to be led. God is the one who knows what the people in your congregation or in a pastor's congregation are going through. And so, he would be able to communicate that if the pastor is going to him and asking him, what he needs to do. And, we were kind of saying like a church is for the community. That's kind of one of the main purposes of it, is to reach the community around you, because we believe that every person should have a relationship with God. And so you're trying to reach every person in the community around you. And so they have to have a relationship with God to be able to know what their particular church should be doing in that community. So,
Yeah, our pastor says there's a lot of good ideas, but it's a God idea.
right.
And you get pulled in so many directions. People are telling you stories and you want to help out and you want to do so much. Like your heart is there,
Yeah.
but you got to listen to God and listen where
Yes.
God is doing it. And so I think that goes to the next part of being a pastor's job, is to be a good steward and of leading and guiding the people, a good steward of the building, good steward of the material and the money. And so the pastor's job, and oh yeah, and he has to preach the gospel, and there's a lot that goes into it. But let's talk about the good steward part a little bit.
Yeah. So if you think about it, like a pastor has to preach a message, then he's got to make sure that all the bills are paid and, the things are well taken care of, because you want to steward the things that God has given you well. There's going to be counseling. There's going to be, prayer meetings. There's going to be hospital visits. There's going to be funerals. There's going to be weddings, baby day. I mean, there's so much that a pastor has to do. And so he's got to steward his time well, and make sure that he is able to minister to those people who need him at that time in a good manner. I don't know a better way to say that. So I'm just going to say.
And I'm just, as I'm thinking, if we just ask somebody, you ever had a friend just like unload a heavy thing on you, and it's like, yeah, you realize how drained you can get from
Yes.
that. And when you get, the emotions in it and all that just weigh on you, and a pastor has, another 50, 100, 200 people
Right.
that he's responsible also for.
Yes.
And so you sometimes you're just dealing with one friend who's like doing this to you, and a pastor has like all these people that
Yeah.
he's responsible for and that he wants to love on and take care of. And so it definitely is a lot more than just getting up on Sunday and preaching a sermon and getting down. There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, just planning events. If you've never been a part of planning events, it is a lot, from just the naming the event. Naming the event can be challenging. Like, it's like, what are we gonna name this thing? Like, oh man, it could be, and did you just go down the line of, well, how many people are going to show up? Well, then how much food are we going to need? Is that 8 pizzas? Is that 10 pizzas? Is that 20 pizzas? And you just start going down the line of all these little things to just make one event happen. And it becomes a lot. And I think that funerals are just, that's not fun.
Man.
And, hospital visits, that stuff just is not, I mean, there's great stuff about it. I mean, babies and weddings. And, I love being a part of helping people, discipling them, helping them, get closer to God. And when you see people, it's like, man, last year you looked like this and now you're here, like, man, it's just such a rewarding feeling. It's so great. And so there's definitely a lot of good. And so we definitely don't want to harp on the bad, but there's just, we just wanted to give you a big picture of, there's a lot that goes into it. And, what most people see are just the people who are on TVs, who are flying around in jets and, have big houses and cars. And most pastors are not like that.
Definitely not. I think you were saying before we started recording that the average pastor was it the United States, the salary that they get paid average is $28 an hour. And that roughly comes out to $60,000 a year. And, that's a pastor. You think about if that were 40 hours a week, you know, that would be what they would make. But I guarantee you that pastors are putting in way more than 40 hours a week. It's like a pretty much 24/7, 365.
Yeah, people don't just say, well, the office hours are from 9 to 5, so I'll call in. Your phone's always on.
Yep.
I've had to go to the hospital late at night. I've had to pick people up from jail. I've had to do a couple things, your phone definitely is always on. And so, they may say your hours are this, but as a pastor, you're always on the clock. And I was reading there in Acts verse 6, and it talks about how the disciples they got so busy feeding the people and doing all this stuff that they were losing time, praying and, being able to teach. And so they ended up having to anoint some like pretty much ushers or deacons or whatever you want to call them, people to help in the ministry, because they started doing so much of that other stuff and they weren't being able to spend time with God. And so it's definitely a balance a pastor has to try to have. And we said all this stuff when we didn't say his wife and kids and all this other stuff.
Right, his personal life. Yeah.
It definitely, and that's part of some of the, the Bible talks about, a pastor needs to run his house and take care of his kids and stuff. And so, that is such a big priority also. And so there's a lot that goes into it. And so that's why we believe there's pastor appreciation and why you should do it. Alicia, what are some of the things that we as, members of the church, we can do to help out the pastor?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's lots of different things and not all of them involve money, but we said all of this just to show you plenty of reasons, and we probably didn't even cover all of them, of why you should show your pastor appreciation. I think the number one thing that we can do is pray for him, and we also want to make sure that you are in a place where God has called you to be, make sure that you are, where God wants you to be, because he has something for you to do there as well. So pray for your pastor and get behind the vision of the church and figure out, that's a great way to start. Talk with your pastor and ask him, what is his vision for the church? What are some things that God's spoken to him and what to do, so that you can also, another way to do that is get involved. Get involved by giving your time, by volunteering. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go on stage and preach a message. It could mean that you help out in the office during the week, or, there's plenty of different things that can be done. You help name an event. If you are good at that, we can use your help. There's plenty of ways that you can do that. Another one that just comes off the top of my head is tithing. Making sure that you're tithing, because that a pastor has to steward the money well, right? And so, I know a lot of people I hear that with the mega churches. Well, they could use their money so much better, blah, blah, blah. That is the pastor's responsibility and not yours. So your responsibility is to tithe. That's what it says in the Bible. It's the pastor's responsibility to determine what to do with that money, because he has to have a relationship with God and get that discernment on what he needs to do with that. Now, there are probably other areas in your church that you could give above and beyond the 10% that we are called to do, building funds, missions. You could give to a specific event that's coming up, a guest minister that you have coming in, whatever. Did we talk about others? I'm drawing a blank on what others we talked about.
No, I mean, you definitely hit on a bunch. I love the point that you made about, first off, making sure like this is your home. This is where you're supposed to be. Yeah. I believe God has called us all to have a home church. Yes. And that's where, it talks about bringing your tithe into the storehouse. You bring, your tithe there, that's where you serve. And, yes, we're all part of the body. Yes, we all, we don't get too cliquey where, you can't mess with other churches or whatever. Right. But for this sake, we're talking about finding where God has called you to be, because once you get there, you stay there until God tells you to move. And so
Yeah.
you're not going to always like the pastor's style of preaching or the vision, or at one church we did a lot of missionary stuff. That was the big vision. And then other churches like, hey, we want to get out into our community. And so is either one wrong or right? No, it's what God has called for that
Right.
pastor to do, and God's going to give that pastor grace to fulfill
Yes.
that. And so our job is to say, okay, this is what God spoke to you for the mission. Let's go. We're supposed to reach this community. This is what I feel like I can help out, or whatever, or this is what you need help with. I can try, that also helps the pastor out some.
Yes.
Being willing to kind of stretch out of your comfort zone, that definitely is a big help. But yeah, and I love what you said about naming events. I was a part of a team where we would, I could come up with ideas. How about we do this and that? And then we had some people who could, like you said, come up with the name. And then
Exactly.
somebody, she was real good at, well, you need this, 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 and this to make this event happen. We probably need to. And so where I just had the idea,
Right.
and then they could just boom, make it happen. And
Exactly.
so everybody, just putting a hand in there, it makes a big difference. And so
it does. It takes a team to do this. It's not just one person, like you can say, oh, well, that person has it, so I don't need to volunteer about that or whatever. Well, maybe that person is praying for volunteers and they need some help, and you are graced and gifted in that, and that would help that person, who in turn helps the pastor, so that the pastor doesn't have to worry about that, because some pastors are wearing multiple hats, not only the pastor's hat. I know our pastor comes and mows the grass often.
Yeah.
There are he's painted. I've got pictures of him painting. There's plenty of things that they do above and beyond. And so offering whatever gifts and talents that you have is very helpful. I did think of a couple. Something that you can do that does not cost any money is you can write him an encouraging letter or an encouraging note, or go up to him after a service and say, Pastor, that really blessed me in what you spoke about today, or that really touched my heart, that resonated with me, whatever, just encourage him in some way. That's very helpful, because sometimes, you're up there and you're just like, I hope somebody's getting something out of this, because no one's saying anything and they all look like they're, they've got their poker face on, so doing that can also be helpful. Not to give them a big head or anything, but sometimes that's what they need. So
yeah, I think part of the problem people have sometimes is they feel like, oh, well, the pastor gets the credit because they're always the one seen, they're the one preaching and talking, they're on the advertisement, and it's like, I did all this work and now he's getting the credit. But you have to look at it as we're a team, because no
yes.
pastor can do it alone, and you're not called to do life alone. And so we all need each other. And I'm reminded of the story with David in Ziklag, where he comes back from war and the women and children are all taken, and his people are mad and they're about to kill him, and they're going to stone him. He prays. God tells him to go after him. And so they start going after him. Well, he leaves some people behind, and then the other people go after the people. They kill them. They get more money back. They get all the women and children back. And the people who went were like, hey, we went out. Like, why are the people who stayed here with the stuff, why are they getting the reward? And David was like, hey, if you stay with the stuff, you get the same reward as if you go, because we're all a team. And so you helping in the nursery is just as important. And you say, well, I wasn't the one up there who gave the altar call. But I mean, I can tell you what, it definitely is a big help whenever I'm able to just sit there and hear from God and focus and, be here instead of just holding my child. I've done it and you can do it, but I'm telling you, everybody's gets a part of the reward of, how that Sunday goes when people gives their life and, people's chains are broken. It's not just the pastor. And so, you have to change your mindset of, oh, well, the pastor's just, his name's out there and this and that. No, we're all a team and we all get the reward.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. You need to make sure that you are hearing from God in what you are supposed to do and in the way that you should bless your pastor. I don't know. Did I mention that you can also bless them financially? Because that would also be a help
If
too.
you give ideas, you can definitely bless, you know, if it's
Cash,
pastor preaching, giving up, give them some cash,
give
whatever it
them a gift
is.
card to a fancy restaurant, not to McDonald's or Whataburger or something
Yeah.
like that. Something a little, not even Chili's. I don't even know that we're there.
No.
Just teasing. Whatever you feel
Yeah.
like God is telling you to do it. Because not only are you going to bless your pastor, but guess what? You're also going to get blessed in return because you're doing what
Yeah,
God's
yeah.
telling
So
you
we
to do.
definitely, those are some good ideas, like she's saying. Write a note, bless
Yeah.
them financially. Ask them, hey, is there anything I can do? You need me to come to the
Yes.
house?
Yes. Do you need me to help you mow your yard?
Yep.
Do you need me to, feed your dogs when you go on vacation?
Yep.
I mean, there's just so many simple things. Think outside the box. It doesn't have to be kept in this little box. It can be, something just way out there that you may think, why in the world would they need that? But that could be the exact thing that your pastors are praying for.
Yep. So we just encourage you to participate, be a part of a pastor appreciation. Like you said, whatever time in October that your church is
Mhm.
doing anything. And if they're not, maybe you step up and say, hey, let's do something for the pastor, and see if you can get some other people to, go in together. Even if it's, it's not a big thing, just smallest things help. And so, yeah, Alicia, you have anything else in closing?
I don't think so. I think that's about it. I hope that you guys hear our heart on this. We're
Yeah.
just trying to have a conversation about something that sometimes people don't always have a conversation about.
Yep.
So, yes, but we love our pastor. We love you,
Yep.
Pastor Mark, and we are so appreciative of you. So,
Yeah, we're definitely honored to work
Oh,
with you.
man.
We have grown a lot. I know I can just, like I said, I can say for myself, I've grown a lot in this couple years of working with him, and it's helped my family out. It's helped the community out, and so I'm just so happy and honored to be a part of this church and this community. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should sing Pastor Mark's praises a little bit. I am so thankful for them. They have been there. Pastor Mark and Kathy have been there for me on a personal level, on every level. And I am so thankful for them. And I love their heart. I love how they just love their people, and they're not harsh. They're caring. They're, forgiving. They're just, I mean, I'm telling you, our pastors are amazing. And so if you don't have
Yeah.
your own church, we know a great one.
Yeah.
But even if you're not locally, I guarantee you that there's going to be some people similar to that in your area.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you said, bragging on them a little bit. I can just right now just remember the time whenever I think Leonidas' fever was just through the roof, and it was kind of getting kind of scary at this point. And Bianca just called Pastor Kathy, and she just started reading scripture, and next you know, the temperature just started coming down. And this was like 11 o'clock at night or something, And so I just so thankful for, like you said, on the personal side and spiritual side of just all that they do for us. And so,
yeah, they're great people. And I'm very thankful to be a part of this with them, and that they trust us to do this, hired you to do what we do at Freedom Church Coastal Bend. And it's an honor and a privilege. And I'm so excited to see what God has in the future for us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that is where we're going to end it here tonight. We appreciate you guys watching this show, watching this, especially if you made it all the way through.
Yeah.
And we would love it if you would like this video, share it with anyone that you think may benefit from it. All of our videos are on our Facebook page and our YouTube. We don't delete them. We don't take them down. So you can always go back and watch them again. Or if you see something that you think may help someone else, don't be afraid to share that with them, because it helps get the word out, because we're doing this for you guys. We're not doing this for us. We want to help others. That's the whole purpose of this program, this show. So we hope you guys have a great week, and we will see y'all again next week. Bye.
Bye.